Hello and welcome everyone to the ISCA Tucson Sound Art Cup and Super Cup Series. Definitely got an exciting race planned here tonight as we are tackling Kansas for the Team WatsonRacing.com 200. And we saw a great race on Thursday. I expect this is going to be no different as a lot of the same track conditions on the racetrack also. As always, of course, I'm joined in the booth by Big Al, and my name is Brian Britt. How are you doing tonight, Big Al?
Hey, man, doing pretty good here, Brian. Excited to be back at Kansas again, waiting to get this one on the road and in the books as well.
Looking at the race facts here for tonight's race, we have 200 miles, 134 laps. Stages are 25, 50, and of course the race ending on 134 going to 135. 5 tire sets, actually going to be 4 down in the pits. Of course, the fuel window is about 48 laps. That could definitely come into play. I do believe we saw it come into play on Thursday. Definitely going to be an exciting race here tonight. I was just talking about track conditions. Let's go ahead and talk about that for a moment. Looking at the track facts tonight, Big Al, I mean, the wind's pretty high here, 13 mile an hour to the south there, 82 degrees ambient, not too bad. That's pretty normal out there, but it's 110 on the track, so that's going to definitely provide a little bit of stickiness and slipperiness out there, Big Al.
Yeah, and that wind coming down the backstretch at 13 miles per hour is going to be probably to the driver's favor just a little bit. It should not be too much of a nuisance, but that same wind coming down the front stretch, well, that might be a problem. We'll just have to see how that works out for us here this evening.
100%. Well, let's take a quick look at the point situation coming into tonight's race. Looking at the Super Cup season, of course, we just wrapped up our season 3, I do believe, for ISCA, the Cup part. So the Super actually covers the whole kind of NASCAR schedule. Chris Rivera, though, finds himself up in the points lead right now with 1 win in the playoffs. Second place, Josh Schaffner. Third place, Kenny Powell. Fourth place, Brian Johnson. Fifth place, Jose Acosta. Sixth place, Chris Johnson. Seventh, Ryan Strunk. Eighth, Paul Olson. Ninth, Frank Flores. And 10th, Kenny Thompson. Looking at the next rung here, Darren Mullins, or John Mullins, I should say, sitting in 11th place. Eric Kling, 12th. Of course, Kling has not been showing up to a lot of these races, unfortunately. Greg Wychinski, 13th. He's also been having some issues with participation. 14th, Gary Adamson. He is here tonight. Al Kozlowski, 15th. Of course, he has, I don't believe he's racing in the Saturday Series anymore. And 16th, Robert Pattengale, also been having some participation issues. But still, there's going to be a lot of points up for grab here, especially we're just getting started with the playoffs. A lot of these guys are going to be really, really going after it, Big Al.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's just the playoffs just getting underway, and these drivers all wanting to try to get themselves a shot. So there's plenty of room for the guys that are in there. We'll just get to sit back, call it, see how it happens.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to call it and see what happens here tonight for sure. But right now, qualifying, of course, is underway. Jose Acosta finds himself at the top of the board with 31.051. So definitely a very quick lap. We saw a little bit quicker on Thursday, but of course that was actually his first lap. So the second lap was actually a 30.849. Very fast lap out of Jose. I'm sorry, that was actually Chris Johnson that just turned that lap. So Johnson now up to the point here. Now, how much do you weight do you put in on qualifying at a track like this, Big Al? I mean, based on what we saw on Thursday.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's really going to come down to 2 things: pit position and track position. So, with there being 2 stages, I mean, I think, and we didn't see any cautions either on that Thursday night race. So, yeah, I think qualifying is definitely going to hold some weight here this evening.
Yeah, definitely could hold some weight for sure. Very difficult to pass, especially once the tires start to get them heat, that heat. And I mean, we saw a lot of fall off. I mean, I do believe even 2 seconds. I mean, guys were falling off into the 33-second range, Big Al. I mean, that was quite a big amount of fall off. And what we saw a lot of was guys running, towards the top, and then guys also running towards the bottom. And we saw kind of, different lines from about everybody.
Yeah, I think though tonight, I don't know, man. I'm thinking maybe the High Line. The High Line just trying to flirt with a little disaster there, like Molly Hatchet says, and just stay right up there on that High Line and maybe get sucked into the wall maybe 10, 15 times. That sounds kind of exciting to me.
Yeah, definitely need to make a Kansas stripe. I think that a lot of guys do end up touching that wall here at this racetrack. Watching Kenny Powell turning some laps right now. He is currently sixth in the starting grid right now. Of course, we have a little bit over a minute left in qualifying, but Chris Johnson still holding strong with the pole so far. Definitely a very good qualifying effort. And one thing about it with Chris Johnson, I think on Thursday, he seemed like he was lacking some pace there. Wouldn't you say, Big Al? I believe I've lost Big Al, but yeah, he was lacking a little bit of pace. Definitely, hopefully they're able to right the ship there and maybe switch setups. Of course, that's one good thing about running on Thursday. You can kind of see what works and what doesn't, and then come to this track on Saturday and really bring your A game. Of course, let's go ahead and take a brief step away though and pay some homage to our national anthem. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Race fans, it is time for those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We have our grid set for tonight's event. Chris Johnson going to grab the pole with Jose Acosta on the outside. Chris Severa going to qualify third. Frank Flores in fourth. Fifth place going to belong to Kenny Powell, while Kendall Vron qualifies sixth. Seventh place, Brian Johnson, with John Mullins right beside him in eighth. Ninth place going to belong to Thomas O'Hara, and Josh Offner rounds out our top 10.
Don Avery is going to be in 11th with Paul Olson alongside him in 12th. Ryan Strunk and Gary Adamson round out this 14-car field.
Definitely not a terrible amount of cars out here, but like we've seen it time and time again. Some of the races that have the least amount of people sometimes are the most exciting. I mean, think about last Saturday, Big Al. I mean, imagine Brian Johnson. Imagine the chip on his shoulder he's going to probably have coming into this race after running out of gas with just a little bit of track left to go on that final lap out of turn 4 at Darlington. I mean, me and you both jumped up on our feet when that happened. I mean, that was some of the most exciting racing we've seen here in the ISCA, and I think it's going to be just the same here tonight.
Well, Kansas is no Darlington. I mean, this track is definitely different in its own right. Hopefully, we will have exciting racing. And yeah, I think you might be right. Brian Johnson definitely having a little bit of a fit to redemption, if you will. But a lot of drivers could benefit from having a strong performance here tonight. So we're just going to have to see how this one plays out. I think I'm going to be going with the 42 though of Jose Acosta. I think he's going to be my favorite to win this thing here this evening. You know, nothing runs like a deer. And Jose had his share of some bad luck, so hopefully he'll have his redemption song here tonight, Brian.
Yeah, I'm definitely expecting some strong results out of that 42. After he's had some trials and tribulations, that is for sure. We'll have to wait and see how that all turns out as everybody's getting ready to get rolling here off of the grid. Just waiting on the pace car. It looks like he's got it rolling now. We're going to get this thing underway. Of course, the lights are out, so that means when we cross this point next time by, we're going to be green flag racing. Looks like a couple guys maybe didn't get rolling in time there. They're going to have to definitely take that time to get all kind of bunched up together. You definitely want to be right there on that back bumper whenever you go green.
Yeah, definitely want to make sure that their cars are nice and tight because that way it doesn't give anybody an advantage. You know, sometimes drivers will kind of like lay back a little bit, just try to get a run, if you will. But nope, I would like to make sure they're stacked up here because that's going to give Chris Johnson everything that he needs as he will be leading us through that Geico restart zone. And hopefully the 42 of Jose Acosta can actually get a good launch because that top line can be pretty strong here, Brian, especially on the initial start of the race.
And what a good qualifying effort from Frank Flores. Going to be starting up there in the fourth position. Definitely looking to have a strong night from that 12. Pace car down pit road, entering the Geico restart zone any moment now. And the green flag out in the air. Chris Johnson does not get a huge jump, but look at Severa. I mean, Severa all but bumped, Chris Johnson there to almost get him up to speed.
Well, I think that just speaks testaments to the strong start that Jose Acosta actually got. It wasn't that Chris Johnson got a bad start; it was just Jose got such a phenomenal start. But now he's going to find himself tucked in third place here. Probably just going to lay back a little bit to try to save his tires, though. Like I said, though, I expect to see Jose Acosta to be up front for the majority of the race here this evening.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to wait and see how that plays out. Of course, tire wear is a huge deal at this place. I think people that you're rewarded when you kind of take it a little bit easy, as the packs already kind of started to spread out a little bit here. Kenny Powell back here in fourth, quite a bit of distance in between him and third place Jose Acosta. But wow, big moves out of Kenny early here.
Yeah, Kenny could just hope that he'll actually have the pace that 42 has and then be able to possibly even catch up with those guys. But right now, he's got Brian Johnson all over his back end. And, these two are going to be definitely trying to do what they can to catch up to that lead pack.
And this just in, Chris Severa up to the point here. He takes the lead early here in the event. Last time by, he had a 31.2, which was the fastest in the field. So he's definitely got some horses underneath that hot rod.
Yeah, Josh Schaffner also making moves back in the rear of the field as he is currently in 8th place. And now he is alongside of the 12 with Frank Flores. This battle is going to be for 7th place.
Yeah, Frank Flores did not fire off there on the start. Of course, he, qualified well, had some good track position, but he is falling back as Josh Schaffner does take that position and try to sets his sights ahead on Kendall LeBron. 3 wide further back here, John Mullins and Don Avery.
Yeah, John Mullins was definitely having a lot of trouble with the handling of his car on Thursday, so it's good to see that he's got the 64 kind of up and running, and Don Avery as well. Not sure what's going on with the 117 of Thomas O'Hara, but I'm sure he'll kind of get caught up with the rest of the field here as green and flag racing continues.
Yeah, and if I recall, Don Avery was one of the really fast guys on Thursday, so I expect that he's going to be cutting his way through this field eventually. And he was one of the guys that was really good on the long run. Oh, to 77, Ryan Strunk up into the outside wall in the middle of 3 and 4. He was able to recover.
Ron Strunk running a different and new paint scheme this week. Kind of like it, like what he's got going on. And you're right there. Don Avery actually did suffer from packet loss, which means he ultimately lost his connection to the server, and that cost him dearly. I don't think he was actually able to finish Thursday night's race, Brian.
And it's so unfortunate, too, because he was up in the top 3 whenever that happened, I do believe.
Yeah, strong performance. So definitely you know that he's going to be wanting to come out here tonight and actually recover from that and maybe actually even be able to redeem himself, if you will. Whole lot of redemption stories trying to occur out there as the playoffs are just really getting started here with the ISCA Saturday Night Series.
No, I think you're right. I think a whole lot of guys wanting to, really redeem themselves and have a strong playoff run. Oh, the 77 into the outside wall again.
The 24, though, Kenny Powell is going to be finding himself on the inside of Jose Acosta. That's going to put Powell, he'd be battling for what would be third place, and that's going to be exactly what Powell's going to be doing. Jose gets a little bit tight there, almost makes contact with the wall. Powell still on the inside, and Brian Johnson now comes up. Things are getting really heated up here, Brian.
It's starting to get spicy, that is for sure, as we see Jose Acosta up on the top, essentially all by himself. Brian Johnson now trying to make the pass happen. He's on the inside.
Oh, Josh Butler gets into Kendall LeBron. Kendall LeBron pedals it through, keeps it going. Now he's got Ryan Strunk and the 12 of Frank Flores that tread the needle, but that could have got real bad real quick there. But green flag racing continues, Brian.
That was unfortunate for Kendall LeBron there. Luckily, I don't believe he got a lot of damage out of that whole situation. It could have been a whole lot worse. As long as he stays on the lead lap, I think that's what most of these guys' goal is right now. Al, is just to stay on the lead lap because a stage break's right around the corner.
Yeah, absolutely. As Jose Acosta gets a little bit of a run there, he kind of gets sucked up to the back of the 24. Now, these guys have ultimately tracked Chris Johnson down as he is starting to kind of slowly slip back through the pack. But who's not slipping back? That's going to be the 62 of Chris Rivera as he now has his lead out to 1.6 seconds over the P2, which is still Chris Johnson. But I don't know how long that's going to be.
Here comes Josh Schaffner on the outside of Jose Acosta. Looks like he's going to get a big run of momentum. The 4 of Brian Johnson now underneath the 24 of Kenny Powell. So even though these guys are fighting side by side, this is what's interesting about this. Usually when you're fighting side by side, the guys are, going to be able to pull away on you. But Johnson not able to do so.
Yeah, just because that top line can be so strong. But remember now, I think the more you stay down there on the bottom, I just think it's going to be a little bit detrimental to your tire wear. I mean, tire wear is something that's pretty significant here. As the 77 of Ryan Strunk makes it around Jose Acosta. That's going to put the 77 of Strunk up into 6th place, Ryan.
I just love what I just saw from Kenny Powell. Powell literally just gave the 4 a bump. Man, but yeah, the 77, even after hitting the wall a couple times here tonight, and we're only on lap 12, he has definitely got it gathered back up, and he's gotten a huge run up on the top. Now going to be challenging Josh Schaffner.
Yeah, Schaffner gets mighty wide right there, and the 77 pulls up to him. He's been trying to get a run here as they enter into turn 3. But look at Schaffner. He has definitely got that corner 50 lined up as he is coming on around there, trying to solidify and maintain P5. But Brian Johnson now going to be on the inside of his brother Chris Johnson, and that's going to put him up into 2nd place as we are now just almost 10 laps to go here. It's going to be actually 12 laps to go in this stage here. It'll be 11 after lap.
Ryan Strunk again getting into the outside wall. There he is, riding on the outside wall. That's going to take a ton of momentum away from him.
It's fast up there, but it's just you're flirting with disaster. I mean, that is because that wall just has a way of reaching out and grabbing you as Brian Johnson and Chris Johnson continue to battle for 2nd place. That's just allowing Chris Rivera now. His lead is almost up to 1.8 seconds here over 2nd place.
Oh, and big problems for Josh Schaffner. Handling woes happening for that driver right now as Ryan Strunk's able to fight his way now up into 5th place. Here comes Kendall LeVron. LeVron, after that huge issue from him and I do believe, I can't remember who exactly had contact with him, but he's able to recover. He's back up and now trying to fight for a top 5.
The 4 of Brian Johnson having significant problems. That actually caused the 24 and the 48 to kind of split him. We had a little bit of a 3-wide situation there for one moment, but it looks like he is trying to get that car back under wraps here so he can fight and challenge Kenny Powell for what's going to be that 3rd place position.
Big fighting going on, and you could tell the handling is starting to go out of these race cars. And one thing we noticed on Thursdays, when we did have that longer run in the final stage, that was when guys struggled the most. So I don't think these guys are out of the woods by a long shot. I mean, we're going to have longer runs than this later in this race.
Yeah, guys definitely trying to figure out what they need to do here in this first stage, if you will. But John Mullins looks like his woes continue as he is definitely finding himself to be dealt the same hand that he was dealt on Thursday night, on Saturday night, as he is now falling way back from the rest of the pack, Brian.
You hate to see that, but I'll tell you what, Chris Severa loving every bit of this here as he's got, I do believe, almost 4 seconds on 3rd place here. He is driving away, definitely having a really good race. But looking at his lap times, though, Big Al, it tells a little bit of a different story. 32.690 last time by from Chris Severa. Chris Johnson was a hair faster than that. Kenny Powell was a whole tenth faster than that.
Well, I think Severus is realizing now that he just doesn't need to push as hard as he does. I mean, he has a sizable lead. Definitely shows that he has got a rocket ship of a car. So even if the pack were to catch him, I think they would still have a hard time getting around him. And speaking of getting around, the 11 of Don Avery has actually made his way past the 42 of Jose Acosta. But Jose just rolled up there to him just to give him a little bit of a nudge there on that last run.
Yeah, it's very difficult to make passes and just complete them, because the draft here is pretty strong to where, a guy gets by you, you're going to be able to, get a good run to get by him. Because, the thing about it, when you're passing here, and now if you're passing on the top, it might be a little bit of a different story. But if you're passing on the bottom, when you slide up in front of another driver, they're going to be at their fastest right there. So they're going to definitely, you'll be at their mercy in a lot of ways, Big Al.
So I guess the question I would ask you is, I guess it's going to be situationally dependent, but where are you going to allow it? Are you going to give the inside, or are you going to force the guys to go around you high?
I'm definitely going to try to give them the inside. I think I would run closer to the wall because, it just, usually you get a better run when you're on the high side on exit, and, that guy, he might almost get clear of you, but if you're able to hang on that guy's, right rear, he can't pass you.
Yes, we are now 5 to go in this stage. I can only imagine a lot of these drivers are definitely starting to salivate as the thought of a pit window will be open and the opportunity to go in and make some adjustments. Some guys might not need to make any adjustments. I do believe we talked to Clayton Hoffman on Thursday. He made no adjustments, but I don't know if that's going to be the case here with everybody tonight, as now the 77 of Ryan Strunk finds himself battling Don Avery. That is going to be for 6th place. Avery, though, able to maintain that position as he now leads Strunk through the backstretch. Strunk going to be trying to get a run down to the inside, but this is the closest battle on the racetrack right now.
Yeah, a lot of guys are falling off very hard when it comes to lap times. When we talked about guys hitting 33-second laps, Ryan Strunk last time by 33.2, Kendall LeVron 33.057. So a lot of guys are in that range, but the top four right now are still in that 32-second range. But I'll tell you what, Chris Severa, he had almost 4 seconds up there. Now he's only got 1.8, so it is decreasing steadily as we see Kenny Powell starting to catch up.
Battle still continues between the 11 and the 77. Now, while these two have been battling, that's allowed the 42 and the 50 to catch up, and that's going to put Josh Schaffner's name back into the hat as he was back at 9th place. But he definitely would have a shot here all the way up to P6 if he plays his cards right.
Yeah, a lot of battling going on back here. These guys just cannot rid themselves of each other here. As Strunk trying his best to hold on to positions here. just have a little bit left to go, but I bet he wishes that this stage would end right now, Big Al.
Yes, these guys are almost 3 wide for position here. Schaffner is going to be doing everything he can. Schaffner getting really loose there. That's going to allow Strunk to get the drive off again. And like you said, though, this stage probably can't be over soon enough for these guys.
Yeah, because they are fighting for playoff points right now, Big Al. That is exactly what's going on. I mean, usually in a race like this, you're like, hey, just keep your head down and move forward, race the track. But these guys are racing for playoff points, and they are so important.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last person to actually get one of those points is going to be the 117 of Thomas O'Hara, as this will be the last lap in the stage here. Chris Severa just having to go around just a couple more times, and that will actually solidify him as our stage 1 winner.
Battle on for second place there right now. Kenny Powell and Chris Johnson side by side as they come into 3 and 4 here. Still side by side. Powell committed to running the top line, and he's going to get a good run here on the front stretch.
But that battle is going to continue for a while. That battle will not be over at the line. So these two are definitely going to have to continue to battle it out, as the stage should be ending now, Brian.
And there is the yellow flag. And I do believe it looks like Kenny Powell is going to be scored in second place, possibly. Nope, it does look like Chris Johnson actually got it.
Yep, Chris Johnson's going to take it. So Chris Severa, your stage 1 winner. Chris D. Johnson officially in second with Kenny Powell in third place. That's going to put Brian Johnson in fourth, Kendall LeBron fifth, Don Avery sixth, Jose Acosta seventh, Ryan Strunk at eighth, Josh Schaffner in ninth, and Thomas O'Hara rounds out those top 10 points paying positions. So with that stage 1 in the books, we're going to be taking a brief step away here to get a word from our sponsors, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be back and see if we can't rustle up a conversation with somebody.
There are moments that surprise and delight the mind and the senses. Introducing Sound Art, the world's first truly customizable, concealed, flat panel art speaker system. A revolutionary combination of incredible sound delivered from your most meaningful pictures. When art and technology intersect, there is a seamless blend of creativity and function.
Come alive in the streetlight, pulling at the stars in the moonlight. Every time I feel you close.
With Sound Art, anyone can print their own artwork or pick from numerous licensed artwork that we have. The possibilities are limitless. Enjoy beautiful and amazing sound throughout your home. The entire surface of your artwork generates incredibly robust sound. Your art never sounded so good.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We got pit sequences underway right now. Looks like a couple guys maybe lost some time on pit road there, but we're going to be joined in the booth here momentarily by Jose Acosta. Figure we'd go ahead and chat with him. We could talk to Chris Severa anytime. He's probably going to be up in the top 3 by tonight anyway, so let's go ahead and grab him up. Jose Acosta, how are you doing this evening, man? I mean, definitely got a fast car on the short run. What do you think you need?
I don't know. More laps. I guess I was practicing with different temperature here, so I guess I gotta get used to what's going on with the temperature here in my tires.
And also, I know the wind is quite high out there, too, and very hot racetrack. So, is that what kind of conditions is that causing on the race car?
Really slick, loose. I'm just trying to keep my car off the wall and trying to stay out of trouble, basically.
Yeah, definitely sounds like a good plan for sure. So have you made any adjustments to maybe fix those handling woes?
I haven't yet. I'm just trying to get used to the track temperature and see if I could manage that way first.
All right, so definitely making some adjustments, maybe on the driving itself. Well, man, you look like you're doing pretty strong. You had a really good qualifying effort, qualified in second place. Definitely a strong start to the race. Hopefully, you can get that car working good on the long run, man. I know you guys are getting ready to get back green. Who can we shout out before we let you get back to it?
I'm gonna shout out right now to my mother. My mother, she's watching. Hopefully finish in the top 3. Hey, Mom.
All right, Jose. Thanks for your time, man. We'll chat with you later.
All right.
That was Jose Acosta here. As the green flag soon to come out. They enter the Geico restart zone. Chris Severa goes way early.
No, they did not enter the Geico restart zone. Chris Severa entered the stratosphere, and everyone else just kind of watched the dust trail. So he got off a tremendous start there, not even wanting to chance these guys behind him. The 24 Kenny Powell getting his best launch so far tonight. If he could keep the 48 at bay, but right now that's going to be a long if, as Chris D. Johnson is going to be all over him. And look at Don Avery run.
I mean, we knew Don Avery in that 11 was going to be strong here tonight, but man, Chris Severa definitely with a huge jump. I saw on the backstretch there he was trying to break the draft. But we saw also he was being caught in the long run in that first stage. Could he have been making some adjustments on his race car or his driving style here? As Kenny Powell does remain in front of the 48, but Don Avery, I swear I hear the Jaws theme playing.
Yeah, I think Jose Acosta's right, though. I don't think a lot of people made adjustments, because this track is really sticky. I mean, right now it's 108 degrees, so I think drivers are just going to have to dial it back a little bit, Brian. I think that's going to be the key. They're going to have to kind of conserve a little bit, so that way they'll be able to be, faster, longer. I think would be the best way to say that.
And most of the drivers running towards the bottom line, except for Ryan Strunk. Strunk sticking his nose up there on the top, and it looks like he's going to be trying to work on Brian Johnson. So Ryan and Brian battle right now as they are fighting for, I do believe, the 5th spot.
Yeah, everybody kind of staying in line. They got the line assembled and organized a lot quicker on this start than they did that last start, even though Severa did kind of leave them all out there a little bit. But you're absolutely right. Ryan Strunk now on the outside. He's going to be trying to come around the 4 of Brian Johnson's going to make that pass actually stick. And now I think he's going to be trying to pull up onto 11. Oh. And just like that, here he comes. Had to check up a little bit, though, as the 11 of Don Avery almost made contact with the 48 of Chris D. Johnson, Brian.
Yeah, big battling going on here as Strunk on the move, and he has been running really good up on the top line, and making me wonder why so many guys are choosing the bottom. I mean, it's definitely very interesting decision for some of these guys. I mean, I know that we kind of talked about it earlier about maybe the bottom burning up tire more. Maybe not. I mean, maybe I don't know. Why would everybody be running on the bottom here? It seems like maybe some guys figuring some things out and Strunk just putting caution to the wind. And that's a lot what we saw on Saturday, I do believe, from him at Darlington. I mean, he put caution to the wind for sure.
Well, you got to risk it for the biscuit, man. You're not going to get anything if you just keep standing around with your hands in your pockets. This is one of those things where you really kind of got to put it out there and you got to see. Now, it's still a little bit early, but look at Strunk now. He gets a strong run on the top, goes right by Chris Johnson. That's going to put him up in 3rd place, and now it's just going to be a matter of time before he starts dialing into the back of the 24 Kenny Powell. Now, these guys got 15 laps to go in this stage. Now, I think they're getting a little bit more racy, a little bit faster than they did in that last stage. We're just going to have to stick around and see how it plays out for them.
You see Strunk tried to run the bottom there behind Kenny Powell in 3 and 4, but it just did not work for him. He needs to stick to his strength. But no, he's going to try to take it on the inside right here, side by side for 2nd place.
Now, Powell is definitely no stranger to that outside wall, so it's going to be interesting to see just how he does care to go. But Ryan Strunk going to get the runoff now coming around the start-finish line. Looks like he is almost going to have 2nd place wrapped up. Still not sure just yet, as Powell's going to continue to try to fight for that position as well.
Yeah, but Strunk went right back to his strength, went to the top line, and really impressed with how that car was able to handle on the bottom. Usually when you're used to running the top line and you switch to the bottom at a track like Kansas, it could be a really scary situation, just considering when you're down there on the bottom and you're used to running on the top, it can get very, very loose or very, very tight.
Yeah, one guy that I'm surprised is further back in the field as he is, and that's the 50th Schaffner. I was expecting him to kind of find a little bit of speed and pace and a little bit of grace and kind of at least be up in the top 5 by now. But I don't know what's going on with that car. We're just going to have to stick around and see as well if he can get his handling wells figured out, Brian.
Yeah, something definitely not handling right with that car. I mean, but then again, I mean, you could never count out Josh Schaffner. I mean, we've seen it time and time again to where, oh well, man, he's a non-factor and he just shows up, Big Al. So I mean, that could happen.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying like Superman needs to kind of show up now. I mean, we're gonna need some points here at the end of this stage. The more the merrier because this is playoff time, and the last 4 I do believe we're gonna take and get the boot here at the end of the next couple races. So drivers just got to be very, very vigilant that they don't end up in the bottom of the barrel here.
I don't know if Ryan Strunk burnt his equipment up or what, because now he is under fire from Kenny Powell. Oh, almost some problems there as Strunk tries to come down on the apron along with Powell. He is not giving Powell a lot of room here.
As green flag racing continues, Ryan Strunk actually able to maintain his P2 position. With less than 10 laps remaining in this stage, looks like P2 definitely, stage 2 definitely got shook up a little bit more than stage 1 did, as Powell still continuously is trying to battle Ryan Strunk. Strunk getting a tremendous runoff coming on the backstretch, but these two just not actually able to get away from each other. It's almost like they're in a thing with this protection program, and you're just trying to say, hey, you two separate. Yeah, your screen's frozen. We're having technical difficulties here, ladies and gentlemen, as green flag racing does continue. Well, go ahead and pull it and restart it.